Hmm. Hmm. I like bids here if it holds the 70 area. See if this holds this little probe below for a test back into 86. Enjoying the bid there. All right, we'll put another bid in. I'll wait a little bit for the structure to form. One comes up and one comes down. Okay, let's see how this holds or not, but I like to add more. I only bought 2 lots. I end up sizing more, but I just need to see more structure hold. For now, it's just teetering here, but I like this area for a long. There's a lot of selling that's obviously hitting the wire there. On the tape, you can see it right underneath, and that's what I like too. They could be fueling the leg up if it ends up getting momentum, which I think I'm more prone to add on the momentum up rather than adding on the defensive support here they're forming. So that would mean that I would like to see price trade above 77, 777, kind of where that delta, positive delta formed. I would like price to trade above that. That's where the RTH VWAP and the midnight VWAP is. That would show some momentum so that I can potentially see this going into the VAL area high from yesterday. I don't want to be a support buyer here because it doesn't seem like they're holding too well. Ideally, I would like to see momentum get built and push above 777 to bid more. So for now, I'll just kind of hold a quarter size until I see momentum kick in. Sellers are currently hitting the ask here as we trade below 7,773. I think momentum might start to build here. We'll see. If it comes, I'm not going to add size until momentum does build out here. Hey, welcome back, sir. How are things in France today? Yankee's doing pretty solid. It's holding above the flip and the priority high. Not bad. The flip priority high right there. Daily flip holding. I think it's a good bid instead of the S&P. I want to bid more on the S&P, but I just can't. It doesn't have the strength that the Nasdaq currently has. I think I would rather buy the Nasdaq than I would the S&P right now. But I'll wait. See if it could fill me on this bid here. I'll size in a couple more. Oh, it's leaving. It's leaving. No. Oh well. I bid some, but hey, I didn't get to fill it. See, I was too slow. I should have been filling on the ass, but well, it looks like I was too slow on the bid. Should have been reaching for it, but it's fine. You know, it is what it is. I was right for sure on the squeeze there. How many lots do I have? 6? Okay. Hey, buddy. Hi. Sure looks good, man. Hey. You ready, okay? Okay, so for now we'll focus on the fact that we should scale here at the VAL high. And then we'll kind of figure out what the market wants to do after. Momentum's pretty dead though. Like even this follow through right now is just dying. Whole week has been so slow. What's the VIX at? The VIX is dying, bro. It's at 14.8. The VIX is dying. Yeah, it looks like they might fail. The buyers might fail here. Momentum dried up, nothing pushed through. No good, no good. We'll see if it holds or not, but right now, I'll hold it. Trade plan is the plan. And the invalidation lies only if we hold below the current weekly value low. So whatever happens here, we'll take the L if it goes lower. Because right now the momentum picked up, then just died. Looked good for a second, but they lied. They lied. Dang. Really? Price is below. Interesting. Yeah, it's gonna. I might get. I'm almost certain I'm gonna get stopped out if this breaks below the value low. But it's fine. I'm okay with holding the trade. I like the setup. The risk is within the parameters I'm looking for, so nothing to do here besides just let it do its thing. See if it ends up going or not. I'm not gonna. Inside value. I will add to the trade. There is an area where I would add to this trade if it ends up being an A+ setup. Right now it's more like a CB borderline. It's still good as long as the value low holds on the weekly basis. That purple level right there, 67s. As long as that holds, I don't mind holding the trade. For the long into the value high at 790s. So we're good until something breaks. For now, we're just consolidating. The only thing that sucks is that we're a negative gamma on the S&P. It's an open drive, I guess, on the S&P. Open drive down, and then the yeah. So the S&P is in an open drive, open, and then the Nasdaq is in a gap up of above PDH. If the NQ fails below a PDH, I would assume the S&P probably fails and goes lower in alignment with the OD down move. So I think as long for now the big thing is like as long as NQ holds that gap up, I'm in a good spot, but it's kind of NQ's coming down, so who knows. The NQ did a gap up and then the S&P not so much. There any? Yeah, here comes a capitulation leg. They're selling off a little bit. More selling hitting the wire. And we're right at the value low. This is probably going to sweep. Here's the S&P NQ2 also getting below the flip. And then the PDH is just a few points below. So if it breaks all of it, then yeah, my stop loss is about to get hit in alignment with all that structure failing. I think my stop loss is in the right place, and I'm not going to move it around. NQ right there, about to... It's trying to touch the prior day high. See if it breaks below and holds. It's also where VWAP is. See if we can reclaim above the 771 again. I'll bid more. If this reclaims back above, I'll add more to this trade. A couple lots only. Apparently it's holding again. Thank you. Held the priority high so far. Here's 7-1. I'll buy them 2. All right, that'll be the final ad here, and then we'll keep the risk cap there wherever it is. For now, that'll leave me room for one more trade today in case this doesn't work out. And then we'll take it at the value high. Go, and then more at the open. Yeah. Cool. Excuse me. The as long as that weekly value low holds, for now it's holding. It's barely holding, but if it breaks and holds below it, that's where my bias will flip. And so far, I mean, the bears certainly are pushing against that edge right now, and we'll see if the bulls can push against it. I like that my invalidation is close to where I'm at. My only problem is my average fill is now higher because of that impulse move earlier. So my average cost is just terrible today. Because of that impulse move, I filled a couple lots, assuming we'd continue. I would have been better off had I just had a better fill, but oh well. You know, my average cost 4 points lower would have been a lot better. I would have been at what, like a 7. Like a 6-point risk as opposed to 10 or 12. Half the risk. Yeah. Not good today, man. My risk overall on the position is terrible. But it is what it is. Oh, I can't do anything. Just let this thing play out, man. I don't know. I'm obviously it's teetering between my thesis, and it certainly looks like all the balances are getting sold, so leaning more short than anything. The journal today, the edge log, says short, so I'm obviously wrong, you know. My personal take on it, as opposed to what the report is saying, I'm going against the grain, against what the report is saying, the structural bias. And the structural bias based on the morning report says to be short, not to be long. I'm wrong, or I'm taking my trade based on my analysis, not what the report's saying. There's my stop. There's my stop. All right, cool. Terrible. I mean, kind of. Yeah, it's just slow. Just slow. I mean, I can't complain. I had good trades. I really, as much as I want to like side with like the with that, I can't complain. I have had good trades. Just held up, man. They just like a bottom tick there. You fuckers. That's fine. The NQ is still holding that priority high, so I don't know. I think I'm better off just going long the S&P. I'm sorry, the Nasdaq here. But I don't know. I don't know. They probed below that VAL area low on the week, and then now they're holding back above again. So pretty messy leg. Well, I just don't understand why it's moving so fucking slow. The VIX is dying in the middle of all this. The VIX is at 14.8. It's down 2%, almost 3% today. The NQ looks solid, man. I think I should just be long the Nasdaq. It's just cleaner. There's single stock futures out already. No way. July 27th. Oh, really? They launched? Where, what the heck? I had no idea. It launched it. Interesting. I think, the The bid, sorry, the market makers need futures, bro, for those options. Now they have what? Some stocks have like expirations every other day, right? On a lot of the stocks. They need some of that liquidity, bro, to hedge. I'm gonna buy more here. This is probably my only other trade. I'm not taking any more after this. I like the zone, but it seems like it's fading out. Wants to push, doesn't push. Volume's weird. Volume's fucking weird. If it fails, it's cool, man. I'll take the L, but I think I just bought the top of that. I like the zone. This is the only zone of interest that I have unless we go down like 50 points. 50? Yeah, about 50 points from here is my next zone down, so I'm cool right here. Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, this fails is cool. Like, I don't mind it. I mean, this is a planned zone. I like the area. Unfortunately, the structural bias for the day is bearish. I just don't agree with it. And, so I'm taking it long. I'm re-entering my long here at 69.50. Stop loss will now be 61.25. Last trade of the day. This will probably be the only one I take. Unless we happen to trade 724. The amount of hedging is going to be, yeah, I would assume so, because I mean the amount of options that they are already the amount of options that are currently traded, now that they added, I think, like Wednesday expiration on a lot of these single stocks. There's gotta, that's probably the reason they're launching the futures, is because they need to hedge all that inventory. That extra inventory that they're providing to the market, you know, those expirations, those additional expirations are crazy if you think about it. So yeah, you know, I think it's a natural move in that direction, makes the most sense. But Seaway, you know, way. Oh my god, what, dude? Yeah, I mean, I think it's meant to help them, you know, with all that inventory management of the of those why am I blinking so hard this morning? Jeez. How it would affect ES? I don't know. That's a good one, because a lot of those stocks that are providing futures, they likely, well, they are a part of the too much Celsius. I think so, man. I think I drank too much too fast. I think that they're probably going to dampen maybe volatility. I don't know. I think it'll do both. I think it can amplify and dampen volatility. I have no idea. You know, with the amount of hedging they have to do, and especially if, let's just say, like a lot of those stocks that they're providing futures for end up going negative gamma, and then the S&P tracks that. The S&P tracks those stocks' performance intraday. I don't know. It could be good, it could be bad. I can't tell, because I really don't know, to be honest. I'm just making assumptions. And as I'm thinking about it, maybe it actually helps them dampen the volatility. Because before they couldn't hedge their options, so they had to sell shares. And futures are more leveraged, so it requires less notional. I don't know. I would have to talk about this with AI or something, because I have no clue. I'm running down a rabbit hole right now as I'm thinking about it. And I really have no clue. what it can do. Yeah, because I assume the big players wouldn't mind that because they all like liquid areas. We've been getting some hectic imbalanced moves since Trump came in. Yeah, I'm sure they like that. I don't know. I mean, those imbalanced moves, I'm sure there's always someone offsides, but overall, I'm almost certain like they love the volatility probably. Probably pays really well. The volatility. Because here's the thing, like I've seen sometimes where the max pain, meaning like the options expiration max pain, is so far away from price that it would not make any sense for price to trade there given the average move of the S&P. Yet in a few instances the S&P has finished right at the max pain, which is like 50 or 80 points away from the open. And I've seen that happen a few times, not many times, but enough to be like, that's so fucking strange. Why would the max pain be there? There was so much supply before that level. Why would it be above all that supply side? In this instance, I'm talking about a trade from like May that I can think of. So I don't know. I think that they definitely have some hands on it, and they kind of anticipate some of those tweets or something, because the way they price the options chain, it almost seems like they know it's a risk for that day. I posted it one time on X. I posted like, you know, the max pain was 120 points away from the open. Like, I don't know. And we were in a downtrend, and then it fucking ran up 100 points on a tweet. And it closed right at the max pain. So I don't know, man. I think that they're in on it, and I think that they certainly have they're definitely hedged and making more money as a result of the volatility. And there's just some tragedies in between. Some people are, you know, unfortunately not told of that. Yeah, that max pain, that's the only thing that makes me scratch my head. And that's because like that max pain is so far away from structure in some instances that doesn't make sense. Hey, it looks like it's going. We'll see if it pays. Hey Jen, Eric says is right outside. Okay, thanks. Bye. Honestly, I don't know if this goes or not, but if I had to be long, I think, like I said earlier, even this morning, I think the better long is just the NASDAQ. Just because structurally it's above, it's currently in a gap up state. And the S&P is doing this fucking weird thing where like it wants to go, but it doesn't move. It just keeps fading. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I think I'm better off, I had to be long anything, probably the NASDAQ. S&P keeps going limp. I think it's going to fail, honestly. This is not really holding any of the pops. Yeah. Every single pop just fails. This one popped too into the monthly VWAP, or the monthly into the midnight VWAP, and then just faded, dude. Just went fucking limp again. This is dog shit. And then the NASDAQ, it's had a couple bounces here. I don't know if this is the final boss before it breaks and comes to fill the gap. The gap's pretty large for the NASDAQ. That sounds like a fair array. Welcome back. I think the tell is the NASDAQ, bro. Whatever this does, I think the S&P will kind of follow suit. It'll either break down, the S&P will either break down, fill the gap, if NASDAQ fills the gap. So everything on the NASDAQ, I would say. What's green today? Chips are green, 2.5. Value somewhat green. Yeah. So I'm putting emphasis on NASDAQ. Again, this is the ticker. If there's one to watch, it's the ticker. Is the NQ, my friend. Let's buy a couple here. We'll take it. Yeah, below VWAP. Targets. We'll put, yeah, 30K is fair. New York Open. I don't know why it shows like why it shows the PNL as a full lot. It's 2 micros. So it's showing the PNL incorrectly on the NASDAQ for some reason. I'm not sure why it does that. Let me see if I can change chart settings. Just change this to NQ. It doesn't even fucking matter. Okay. Is this really gonna download the whole This is gonna, oh man, I don't know how long this is gonna take for the Nasdaq to download the contract. But anyway, I'm long the NQ too. I just can't. That was probably a mistake. Oh well. Changing the contract and everything right now. I think I have another one I can look at. Oh, but it doesn't have the trading. It's fine. Whatever. Oh, it's at the current month value or high. Oh no. How many? It was only 2 micros. Nothing crazy. It's 2 micros. Oh. I have a fill at 30K on one. I don't even know where we're at right now. We're about 80 points from that. Yeah. I just need it to load. Ezra! Can you make sure you get ready, please? We're gonna head out right now, okay? I gotta take my son to school right now. Is this gonna go limp again above the VWAP? It's doing it again, dude. This is fucking ridiculous. Oh man. We'll see if this time it holds or not, but this is so annoying. This week is pretty funky with the tempo. Very weird tempo this whole week on the market. The way the moves happen are so odd. And there's been a theme too. Here's a slight theme I've noticed. The overnight session will gap up, and then the regular trading hours will sell off. They're dumping into gaps. The last few sessions. So they gap up during overnight, and then they dump it during the regular trading hours. There's obviously supply side waiting in the mornings during the New York session. Now that could be a variety of reasons. It doesn't mean people are dumping per se, but I have a monthly GEX report, and yeah, there's a counter auction screwing over the overnight. There's no alignment, and the reason is, I don't know if this is the reason, but I do have a GEX report, a monthly one for August, that shows that there's a monthly call wall at 798 on the S&P. And if you look at if you go look at where the highs have been the last 3 sessions, it's at 790s. So I think the monthly hedging pressure is putting some sell side pressure on the S&P breaking above 7800. I don't know where it is today. I can rerun the report, but the last few sessions, let me see if I can pull the report here. I have it here. Let me pull it. So you can't really tell from here. Yeah, I guess I'll just have to open it from here. So the major call wall is right there, 7798 is where the major call wall is, and the gamma flip is also there on a monthly report. 798 has the call wall and the gamma flip in the same spot. It's been like that for a few days, and we've been gapping into it every other session, or if not pushing into it, and then it fails. So I think that has a lot to do with it, to be honest, from a mechanical perspective as to why it's selling off in that area during the New York Open, because that's when market makers deal, because they hedge against that, I would assume, during the opening session. They have to hedge the options. Okay, here now it shows the correct P&L. There we go. Now it shows the true P&L on the NQ. So I will go take my son to school. I am going to need to manage this trade. And This kind of sucks, man. Momentum keeps fading out. NQ is, you know, it's not doing too well. Everything's fucking slow. Okay. This is what I'll do. I'll manage the trade like this. Take 3 off. That'll reduce some of the risk exposure down to 8 lots. Damn, how many lots did I have? The NQ I like. Don't like that it's my stop loss is there though. See, I gotta make a decision. I'm gonna question to ask myself is I'm okay with the amount of risk I have and where the stop loss are. And the answer is yes. So I'll just leave it how it is. If I get stopped out, you know, that's cool. Where's my other take profit here? I have 584. I have 1 more at the IB high. And then 2 more, and we'll trail that one. Cool. So I like where my risk is. I don't mind it. Take a loss when I come back. That's cool. You know, I'll probably just end the day there anyway. Because yeah. 8 lots, 2 lots, risk. Only thing I don't like is where the stop loss is on the NASDAQ. That's what I don't like. I think I'm prone to getting whacked with my stop loss there. But yeah, I don't know. That's the only concern I have, is that I can see a scenario where the NQ comes down, tests the value area low, the prior value area high, and then sweeps back higher. So I think I'm just gonna close this one. Line this one out for now. I don't like my cost bases there. Oh, I don't have to make a decision. There you go. The market decided for me. Yeah, I think a bit more, dude, if this happens. This is bullshit, but yeah, they're hitting some volatility. I'll buy more here. Okay. Market swept some liquidity there. Volatility is hitting the wire. Nobody knows why. And that's okay. Got stopped out, and it's fucked up, but you know, that's the market. We'll just take the bid, you know. My stop will go down there on everything. So let me adjust that. I had a rebid. They stopped me out. I'm glad I closed the NQ trade. I think I can buy it back now. Yeah, let me buy back the NQ trade now. Same stop. And then yeah, the TP up here and go from there. All right, cool. All right, well, we'll see what happens. This now that they flush that volume, you know, if the structure holds, then it's meant to hold. They can go higher, or it's gonna fade. I think now it's pretty clear. Now they did all that. I don't know why the fuck that happened. I don't really care. That did put me in a pretty deep hole, 800 down, which is pretty fucked up, but it's, you know, that's the market. Yeah, okay. Well, I gotta go. I gotta take my son to school, and I'm just, they hit the IB. Interesting. Yeah, man. I'll be back in like 15 minutes. So I'm not gonna leave. I'll just 15 minutes. I'll take my son to school.
All right. Whole lot of nothing, huh? Dude, they're just not bidding. This thing is not bid at all. Every bounce fails. What a fucking day. I will say this is probably this is very similar to yesterday. They formed a very large base. The only difference is that the value high, we're not testing a prior session value high, but rather a current value high from this session that it keeps fading at. So it's very similar to yesterday where it looks like it's going to fade out again. It's just too much supply, I guess. There's a lot of sellers, bro. They're not active, they're just passive. There's just too much selling, I guess. There's not enough to demand. I understand. I mean, we're pretty high up in the chain, you know? You look at where the range is. There's not a lot of value to be bidding up here. Unless you're super bullish. In terms of location. No. Oh my. What a day. The structural bias is short, so again, I think I'm at fault for going against the bias. It seems that that's been the easiest trade so far. But then again, we've been in a range, so I guess both sides, as long as you're trading the edges, have worked. Maybe my expectations are just too high. You know, could have been just scaling at 70, 76s, 78s, but I don't know. Definitely not a good day trading for me so far. It's been very choppy. We'll see where we end. As far as the report goes for positioning, we have a lot of selling, dude. Look at the active selling. There's a bunch of supply still at 80, 85. We haven't even tested that area. And then currently, barely, there is some sellers at 75s. But they're in favor right now. And that's where they're defending. They're defending that 75 zone. The sellers keep reloading. These are the two zones where there's been active sellers the last two sessions. So 75 through 80 and then about 80 through 85. That 15-point spread, there's been active passive selling. The risk is only met if price holds above the 80s. So above 77, 80s, that's where the squeeze risk lies. Right now, there is no squeeze risk. We're below that zone. So it says here, if we trade above 780s, it reinforces the trap of the multi-day sellers. Buyers are now in favor above it. Yeah, so buyers become in favor above that. Holding above it keeps the squeeze building, meaning sellers have to cover. Right, but we're not nowhere near that. We come just shy of that, and then they fail. So if we get above 80s, man, pretty good probability that we can squeeze. So that's unfortunate, but that's the reality of things. Boom, boom, boom. City of the 12. Yeah, I think your boy's wrong. I think I'm definitely wrong on today. You know, fighting against the structural bias of the indicator or the software that I use. I'm wrong, dude. And I'm gonna have to take the hit, unfortunately. Seems like I'm on the wrong side of the trade so far. Looks a lot like yesterday. Bunch of passive sellers hitting 80s again or just below. Eventually until price breaks down below 70s, which is currently happening right now. I didn't follow through with the structural bias of the edge log, and so I'm feeling the heat today. Overall, I'm wrong until I guess price can hold above 780s. So yeah, I'm stuck in this trade. I don't let it play out, but I'm wrong until we can do something meaningful. Yeah, the S&P, where is it? The NQ is still chopping around. This is the biggest chop I've seen on the Nasdaq. Wow. It's good. I mean, when they have a big zones like this, you know, the distribution is pretty large. Whichever direction they take it. Wherever which way they distribute, the move will be pretty large. We've been basing since the open, so almost 2 hours. This kind of consolidation usually results in a pretty extended move rest of the session. So wherever it wants to extend, it extends up or extends down. Yeah, I mean, we're still holding the barely, but we're still holding the VAL area low here, where we broke down from yesterday. I mean, this is kind of my this is my line in the sand. I'm like, my cost basis is pretty close to it, but overall I got stopped out twice already in this area. It's a pretty messy day for me. It's the area that I needed to hold, in other words. Yeah, it's chopped 4 times this morning. Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, it's messy, bro. I don't know. I think eventually it'll resolve. I think it's similar to yesterday. It'll resolve around what time? Like 9? What time did it resolve yesterday? Yeah, at about 9. Yeah, like during New York lunch. Yesterday it resolved during New York lunch. Might be the same thing. We might need another hour of this or so before we get resolution. see. Got top of the hour. This looks like it's breaking down right now as we speak. That VAL area low. Yeah, it's doing a little bit of fade. So it's doing the little bounce, rejection, slope. Let's see if it's probably going to stop me out. NQ also fading. They're all moving in tandem right now. Fading out. And the YM as well. It's breaking the overnight low right now on the YM. NQ is touching the Friday high and VWAP area. Yeah, it looks like everything's about to fail in tandem, which is a very strong confluence for a failed move, for a breakdown. So it looks like they're coming for me. I'm gonna get stopped out probably on both positions. If this does if this does a failed breakdown, I will buy more. And I laugh because it just keeps doing this. I will buy more if it does a failed breakdown of the failed breakdown. Oh, this is hilarious. So let's see if this I don't see enough delta pressing on the sell to trap fresh selling right now in this latest print below. But if it starts to reclaim, I will certainly buy more if there's momentum. So the tape, if you're looking at the DOM and you see how the DOM has been trading, it's very staticky, kind of slow, not enough momentum, very passive participation. These are all different characteristics to describe what the DOM looks like right now. If the dynamic of the DOM changes, it starts to push and press and starts to get momentum and starts to, quote unquote, wake up, I will buy more. But the DOM needs to wake up. If it wakes up, that to me is signaling there is market participants, market buyers, market meaning people are buying at the market, meaning momentum is kicking in. But right now I haven't seen that. Right now it just looks like a bunch of people transacting via limit orders. There's no market buys, market sells. So with that in mind, I will buy when that shift occurs, if it occurs. If it doesn't, then it doesn't, right? Oh. But so far, the edge log structural bias is correct. Short this B. Short the B. All right. Today has been quite the... I don't know what's going on with the market. I don't know if it's because the VIX is dying. What's the VIX at right now? Yeah, it's still the same price as earlier. I don't know if just what do you call it? I don't know if it's because the VIX is so low. It's just causing this volatility to dissipate. I don't know. Pretty weird. There's a lot of sell. I mean, just clustered together. The DOM, you can clearly see where a lot of the selling is clustered. And I don't know if it's selling as in like active sellers or if it's stop losses. I have no clue. My assumption is that it's a mixture of both. And if this does not break down, some of that selling is going to have to cover again. And so my expectation is we come back to that 76 area once more. If we do hold this. Oh, this market's so choppy today, dude. It's crazy. But here's momentum kicking in. All right, this is what I want to see. A little bit of this continued. DOM inched up a tad. Now, I want to see it continue that trajectory as it starts to inch and inch and inch. But so far, it just slowed down. I'm just being patient here, seeing if the momentum is real. A bit. I'm down 800 bucks. Not that it makes a difference to what I will be doing, but overall, like, if this, if I take the L on both of these, it's gonna be a pretty gnarly week, red day. I don't like taking this much risk. Usually, I would have called it by now. 800 is my daily amount, but I doubled it up for the day, which is not good. Come on. Make your move, market. Make your move. Cool. Oh my, oh my. We're still holding that value low for the week. It's just been shifting lower though. 64 now, or 64, 65, let's just say, rounding up a tick. Okay. Okay, filled another 2 lots. Okay, okay. I will live tomorrow. What a day, what a day. So here's the report. Let me just review this while this thing kind of does this thing. Today we had an open drive on the S&P. So pretty simple, like the open, which is right at a little bit above or right below the prior day high. Price drove down right immediately. So one of the ways to confirm it is no return to the opening price within 15 minutes. So the S&P S&P traded, put it this way, didn't even come back to the open even now at this point in the day. So that confirms that open drive, and open drive is a trend day. And then the directional anchor, meaning like what tells you the trend is still intact in that direction, in this case down, is VWAP. So as long as price remains below VWAP, if it's in a trend down or an open drive down, then technically the trend is intact. And the inverse is true. If we open and then we do an impulse, a strong directional move in the first few minutes, don't come back to the open, all price has to do is hold above VWAP for it to be classified and structurally sound as an open drive to the upside. So today, so far, it's done that. It's did the opening print, never came back to the open up here. And so far, I mean, it's been chopping around VWAP, but it hasn't really sustained above it too much. So technically, the open drive down is intact. Right, so it's technically still a short, and that's why we're also below the gamma flip. And that's why the structural bias today is short, because of those things. For me, the reason I'm long is two things. I mean, one, you have the NQ, the bias for the NQ is bullish. Oh, it's short. Wow. It should be bullish because it's a gap up and it's holding the gap right now. It's teetering with the gamma flip, but it's holding the gap up. And then I also like this level on the S&P. As long as it holds the current week value or low, I like longs for it. And that's the reason I'm net long at this area. I just, doesn't seem like the bulls agree that they find any value in holding the zone yet so far, at least not aggressively. Yeah, the market's been clowning around today, for sure. Donnie. Where is the NQ at? Yeah, the NQ is, if the NQ breaks down, that's probably the final leg. I'm sorry. That's probably what the S&P is maybe needing to break down, because right now it's just chopping. It hasn't broken down. The NQ maybe flushes everything out, because it's up 1%. I think the Nasdaq's up 1% today. It's a pretty massive move. Let me see. S&P is up a quarter. The Nasdaq is up 0.75. I'm sorry. It was up 1%. My average price is literally at the point of control for the session. Wow. That is terrible. That is terrible. Point of control average fill. That's nasty. All right. Time is it? 8:30. Euro close about to happen, and we're still sleeping. Nasdaq's just teetering right here. Easing here. S&P is waking up a little bit and getting some momentum again. This is what happened earlier. I'm not really gonna highlight too much of it until it gets pretty exacerbated, but it's doing that thing again. The last time I did it,
it came just to this area like last time, right to the point of control and then faded. So we'll see what it does this time around. I'll bid here. Momentum's kind of building. Right into 830, which is kind of sus. But we'll take it. See if we can get above VWAP and we'll buy more. Yeah, see, I bid it and then it just, the momentum died off again. What did NQ do? NQ hit the gamma flip and then it just died. So we'll see. I mean, if this actually gets a rejection and then pushes back and actually gets going again, that would be a change in in momentum. Because so far all we've had is a bunch of chop. So if this hits the level, I'm sorry, if this gets rejected but immediately bids back up, that would be a little bit of an indication that there's some momentum behind the little pop. But right now it's just teetering right at point of control. So not much, nothing exciting about this so far. This could just be because of the euro close. Yeah, the NQ hit gamma flip and immediately rejected too. No good. No good. If I was short, I would be pretty comfortable here. I mean, as long as price holds below VWAP, I'm pretty comfortable holding short if I was in a short position here. I would just be leaning against it right now. Nope, NQ is fading now too. That's the stronger one today. So NQ fades, and this, again, I've been saying this, NQ I think is what it's waiting for to fuck the shit up. NQ needs to break down for the S&P probably to fully break down. That's probably the reason it's holding, is the Nasdaq still technically holding the gap up above the priority high. And it's testing it from above right now on NQ. See if it's actually going to break or not. But if it starts to break down, my stop's right below that on the NQ. So if it starts to break down, I get stopped out on the NQ, of course, but I think the S&P will finally maybe have the momentum that it needs to break down. I don't know. This whole day has been a head scratcher for me. Insane. Yeah. NQ is now below VWAP. It's holding below it. There's puking now. There you go, accelerating, and then there's the S&P also selling off. Yeah, they're gonna stop me on the NQ for sure.
No, don't do it. Fuck you. All right, I gotta stop that on that one. That's not good. I'm down a, yeah, I'm down a grand. Oh, why? Whatever. And then the S&P will be another, what, $700 loss. That'll set me back pretty much the last 2 days, which is not good. As much as I would like to bid the NQ back, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to hold this position and see how it plays out for the day. But the NQ, it looks like I got a bottom ticked again. This has been a day of just bottom ticks for me, bro. Right here. Right here. 3 bottom ticks today, dude, on the stop losses. It's getting to me, honestly. It's really fucking with my my mental today. Look at that. It got literally bottom ticked or around there, wherever the fucking... Look at this shit. I can't. Oh, this is so frustrating. 3 of them today so far. This was on a volatility event right here. This one was my stop right at the fucking low. And then right now again, dude, I can't, dude. That's wild. That's pretty fucked up. Pretty fucked up day, man. In terms of like my stop loss placement, I fucked up hard. Look at that. Okay, we'll bid this failed breakdown again here. See if it isn't a failed breakdown. If it is, it should continue here, then here. We'll see. I bid the NQ back. I'll take it against that current low. Potential failed breakdown. We'll see. What's the 15-minute look like? Pretty fucking messy. 3308. 3308. Okay. Oh, that's pretty up there. Holy. Oh shit. Okay. We'll see. I mean, 3308 is pretty far on the prior month value high. 30K 300. That's a pretty massive rally. I don't know. Oh, I think I bid the wrong one again. I think I'm just wrong, dude. I keep fighting the structural bias on my report, again, my software, and it's just telling me I'm wrong time and time again. I'd made a huge mistake today, betting against the structural bias on my report. Yeah, looks like I'm gonna get stopped out on the NQ here. S&P about a flush. I'll get stopped out here. Big mistake, man. I fucked up big time trying to bet, thinking I was not aligning with my report. It seems. We'll see if the stop losses all hit. But at that point, like if this does take my stop, I'm done for the day. I don't want to see a trade below yesterday's value or low at 54 on the S&P 754. And then the NQ, I mean, it's already at an area where I don't want to see a trade under, which is the priority high. So NQ is holding below that area. It's prone to a breaking down. It's probably, like I said earlier, this is what the S&P needed in order for the NQ to break down. It needed the NQ to hold below the priority high. It needed to, in other words, fail the gap up. And it's currently what it's doing at this moment. And the S&P is now showing enough weakness to trade below the 60 to 65 area. Here's the NQ. About to hit my stop again. It's right at the area. And flush. It takes my stop, but right now. It's like a few ticks away. It looks like I'm gonna get stopped out in tandem between both. One at the same time, give or take. Doom doom doom. Doom doom doom. Doom 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 doom. All right, I bid more right at my cost base, or right where my stop loss is on the NQ, only because it's just so tight. What a messy chart, man. Chips? What are the chips doing today? Let's see. Huh. The chips are doing pretty good. They actually gapped up above a nice area. The chippies, SMH I'm looking at specifically. It's looking to take out, it took out the prior lower high. On the SMH, looks like it wants to do get a gap and go, but it's still at the low. I don't know. The YM is getting a nice little momentum push here on the YM off the overnight low. I don't know if it's enough to get things moving, honestly. The YM is holding the overnight low so far. But the Nasdaq's just going limp. Gotta stop me out. NQ keeps probing this little value low for the session and doesn't break it down. My stop's just below that. Almost hit it. Just below that. Like right there. I'm right underneath that value area. They're just holding it. I don't know how. I'll bid more. I don't want to do that. Fuck that. I want to bid more on that. That's because the spread between my stop loss and the cost is so cheap. But I don't want to take on that risk. I don't know if it's favorable. It's a stupid chop is the way price is moving. It's just hard to discern what will happen. There's no momentum. All right, I'll bid it. Added more. So the spread is tighter now. I bid more on the NQ there. It puts me at 6 lots. More than I'd like to have, but we'll take it. We'll take it. Take it. 12 and 6. That makes 18 lots. So I got 2 more to add. All right, we'll bid more. There it is. The 10Q's pushing there too on that push. I'm sorry, it's pushing for sure this time around. We'll take it here at the value high. And then see. And then we see. No way. Wow, NQ had found a little momentum and just faded out again. Just a bunch of another fake pop probably. It wasn't enough to get us past VWAP, so now they're probably fake out. We'll see. At this point, like I'm max size on contracts that I'm allowed to have, and yeah, I'm positioned. That's all I can say. See what happens next. I am positioned. Win, draw, or lose. Actually, it's more like just win or lose. Yep. Yep.
Win when I lose. Can't quite get above you up on the NQ. Might just be a fake out, or it could be the pump. I don't even know. My expectations for today are kind of muted at this point. I mean, I don't expect us to chop the entire day. I assume they want to distribute some of the volume that's been filled today, but I don't know. This would be one of the tightest ranges we've had in a while. Where does the report say they're at? 80s, yeah, 780. This is ridiculous. They rejected it and it came down. The NQ tried to pop, hit VWAP again and failed, so pretty cooked. Look at that. It's one of the slowest tapes I've seen, dude. Just takes a lot of patience, you know, to work through it, I guess. All right, well, I'm just patiently waiting. We will see. See what happens. We're waiting for this to resolve itself. NQ is teetering, doing its thing. Where is it gonna go? Oh shit. Is it gonna hold? Oh my god. I just want to walk away, honestly. This is not worth watching. It's just chopping so hard. So hard, dude. If this is anything like yesterday, it's just gonna resolve at 9 a.m. Just like yesterday, 9 a.m. meaning like in the next 2 minutes to 30 minutes, it'll resolve. In whatever direction it's gonna go, I would assume. I mean, the way it's trading right now, where it's holding value, I would have to assume lower, just because it's chopping at the value or low for the week. Look at this. You know, this is more indicative of a breakdown setup than it is anything else. But I don't know. I'm long, you know, I like the area. Hard. Very hard day. The rest of the last 2 days were way easier than today, in my opinion. Way easier, at least for me. Now you have the NQ a little weaker than the S&P. S&P's at 65s. It was at 63s before, 2-point spread. The NQ was stronger before, and now it's weaker. They're like alternating here. It's just I don't know, man. A messy day is all I can say. Messy. The chips are getting bid here. I'm looking at the SMH ETF, and it's getting a little bit of momentum bid on the chips too right now. They're running off the lows, getting a little bit of a bid. I'll show what I'm saying.
So here's the chips indicator, or chips indicator, the SMH. You see that it's like coming off the low here from this morning's consolidation base or gap up. It's holding above a structural area. It's a failed breakdown. It's on a higher time frame. It's a massive zone that they reclaimed. So it's this prior neckline that broke down out of right there. It's currently doing a breakout move on the chips, and it's holding. See the move from this morning's gap. It's not fading. It's not retesting. It's kind of getting a momentum on the chips, and the Dow is holding the overnight low. This red level is the overnight low. It's not fading lower. It's actually coming back to VWAP. Looks like it's about to maybe try to run up. I don't know how high. So that rotation right now that's happening, you have chips up 2.2% holding. Value names are holding about 0.5%. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Well, we're getting momentum now, so we'll see if this holds or not. If this is real or not. We've had this rotation a few times already. I don't even have room to buy more. I can't. I'm capped out at 20 lots. I have a total of 20 lots between the two assets. So I maxed position literally for today. I can't buy anymore. I would like to buy if S&P holds above the VWAP, but I can't anymore. And then here's the risk for the sellers. All the sellers, I mean, we saw the cluster of selling below 60s or 65s. This is where the risk really is. If they start to hold above this 80 area, 78 through 80, there can be a massive leg squeeze, at least to the 90s. At least around here. That's where there's a higher time frame hedging pressure, sell side hedge pressure. Oh my god, I can't even speak right now. Let's see. Let's run the report right now. I'll run it again. And where is it found? Trading scripts. So let me run it again right now. The monthly one, and see where it is, so we can kind of see where sellers might be if we do go lower. Trading scripts. Yeah, a lot of images. I gotta get rid of some of these. Gamma. I'll run the report and see where that gamma exposure is right now on a monthly time frame. I think the expiration is next week. Yeah, the 21st, next Friday. Look at that. Hit the hit the point of control and reject it again. Let's see. Where is the... Yeah, it's 9 o'clock. Like I said earlier, like it would resolve around this time, just like yesterday. Yeah. Pretty fucking boring ass day. Okay. So there, yeah, it's around 84. They moved down a little bit. So 784. And the call wall moved up to 806. So above 84 is probably where they could squeeze. That is not the current spot. Let's see, 810, 812, 83. Yeah, the spots can correct though. So let me correct the spot. There's something wrong with the report because it says spot was 87. That's not correct. Says the flip is at 77.83. So yeah, just around that line in the sand area. That pop again into point of control really just faded, bro. That's the second, third time it does that. Came in this time, rejected. Came in this time, rejected. Came in this time. So far, it's rejected. That's 3 tests of the point of control that failed. That's not good. You normally don't get reaction to moves like that off of a point of control. It usually just chops around it. NQ looks good though. Honestly, I would not be fading this if you're trying to short as long as the NQ continues to hold this priority high. As long as the NQ holds the priority high, I don't see how this can fail. At least not fully. I mean, you saw what the NQ did. NQ came into this VAL area low and the S&P was only able to go to about 60s. That was the lowest it could go when the NQ traded the VAL area low here. So how could the S&P go any lower without the NQ showing any weakness? You know, if you're shorting and you're betting against it, how much lower do you think it can go? It certainly is not going to be 54 as long as the NQ holds that priority high. Okay, so there we go. We pulled the report. Now it's more accurate. 65s was this current price. The flip is at 69. Remember VWAP is. And then the call wall is 90s. That's the area I would expect would have some resistance. Yeah, so about 9 days to OPEX, and this is currently where the monthly hedge pressure is for the GEX report. You have the max pain at 7,500, gamma flip at 769. Yeah, all was 790. $6.9 is the flip right now, which is where VWAP is as well. And Q's coming back to that gamma flip area again. If it's gonna hold. That tool is it's a report that I pull. It pulls all the options chain open interest, and then it computes where the most amount of hedge options are currently have traded and are currently open. And with that, the market makers then have to hedge against those options that are open for the OPEX expiration, which is next Friday, the monthly expiration. So that report is something that I create based on data I have access to, that I pay for, and then I have an algorithm that pulls all that data and then creates that report. I gave it the parameters for the report, how to filter it, and then it just does what I tell it to. I'm telling you, hey, here's this raw data that I have. Here are the parameters that I need you to filter this raw data through, and then generate me a report based on that. And that's what it does. And so it tells me where, you know, where the gamma flip is, where the max pain is, where the call wall is for the monthly expiration for the SPX. And then it does that, and then it transmutes that into, or it does the cost basis for the conversion from SPX to ES futures, since they're both different prices. And so it tells you what kind of regime we're in overall, where the market makers are likely to hedge, short hedge those options, those call options. And that's why there's been so much supply. So if you go back to, if you look at my reports too, you have the ES positioning report, and it's been showing that we have had supply multiple days in a row, sellers sitting passively between 80s and 85. Now, if you align that with the monthly report of the GEX regime, that's exactly where the call wall is. The call wall is at 90, just below this price. So my assumption is that there's a lot of call option interest that is expiring near that area, that maybe some of those market makers are hedging price below this area, below that call wall. The monthly call wall is at 790 on the S&P for August. And then there's a bunch of supply sitting right below that. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that's on purpose. This report gets generated every day. And for 3-4 days, that's been the high for the week. You go look at the highs here, right here, and then over here. We've had 4 highs there formed from that expire since August. And when did this move come into this area? The beginning of August. You look at the day this started, it was August 2nd. And this is the report I'm pulling for August. So it all kind of comes together, and it makes sense when you look at all the pieces of the puzzle. Like, there's monthly hedge pressure there. You have the ES positioning report that shows all the volume that's transacted. It's showing that there's sellers waiting passively to absorb all the buy orders from 80 to 85. The call wall is at the 90s, right below that. So it all kind of comes together, and it's telling you, hey, trying to trade or hold a trade past 90s is not going to be easy, because there's a lot of forces at play against that positioning or that trade. It just tells you, like, you don't want to be risk on above 80 or above 90. You want to be risk on below that and have maybe a small position as you break through that thick wall of supply.
that make sense? It kind of gives you context on where you want to be long, initiating fresh money longs, so you're not caught trying to long the high that has a bunch of supply built into it. Gives you good context on where to kind of enter positions and whatnot. Where to not be risk on, in other words. Like, kind of like if I were to tell you, if you're like a, you know, you're selling something, like, I don't know, it's like you're selling cars, and if you know that the ceiling for that specific car is the spread is only $500, it's not gonna make sense to buy the car if you're trying to make a good margin. You know, if your room for error is only $500, but you know on average it's usually 2,000, you're like, I'll pass up on that car. I'm good. No. I'll wait till a better price comes. I'm not gonna buy that car. And so these reports, I post them all. I share them. They're all on X or on Substack, all free. I don't charge for it. I pay for it and I just push it out for free. The thing is, I don't think people know how to use the data. Or maybe they do and they're just lazy about it. I don't know. I don't know. I do know that there's a bunch of lazy ass traders out there who show up half cocked, shooting from the hip, hoping to make money every day, and that's just not how it works. You know, this is a business. This isn't I don't know. It's a business. It's a real career. You got to treat it seriously. And some people come in like fucking half-eyed open, clicking the mouse, buying and selling every day, and they wonder why they don't make money. NQ keeps hitting that gamma level and it just can't break past it. Here's the daily flip area. Hits it, just gets rejected. NQ's up pretty good. I haven't scaled any of the trade. I'm looking to scale it a little closer to this value area. So all these value areas here, there's a few right here. I'm looking to scale there. Somewhere in this vicinity on the NQ. If it can get above the gamma flip, I think I have a pretty good chance of getting that fill. Do you use order flow? I mean, what does that mean to you? This is part of the problem. When people ask that, it's like, what is order flow? Because like I would say yes, but then some guy comes in. I had this guy come in the other day. He's like, you don't even use order flow. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, I'm literally looking at the fucking data that is order flow. GEX is order flow. I have a DOM open. How is that not fucking order flow? I have a volume profile chart that shows value areas, that shows distribution of orders, value. So I guess the question to you, to anybody, is like, what is order flow? What is it? It's baffling to me. I don't think we have the same definition. That's probably the problem most of the time. Like, I would argue that I have more order flow than the average person. You know, I have literally GEX levels and data reports. That's like structural order flow. That's literally hedging order flow. That's foundational order flow that has nothing to do with what's transacted right now, but rather what's happening on a higher time frame that you cannot see. Here, let's look at Google. Google, what is order flow in futures trading? Let's see. What does Google say? Because nobody ever responds to this question. When I ask the question, nobody ever answers it. Real-time buying and sell orders interacting with the market. It tracks aggressive market orders, consume liquidity versus passive limit orders. So, common tools. DOM. I have a DOM. It literally makes up a third of the screen. So, I mean, yeah, I do use order flow. I think it's like the biggest, it's everything that comes from footprint is first shown on the DOM, or not first, but it comes from there. You know, it's just synthesized differently. So yes, I use order flow from this very definition on Google. There's a big old DOM next to my head, or not next to my head, at the edge of the screen. I have a delta, a speed of tape delta reading as well, and I think tracking delta is certainly order flow, right? It has the difference between the bid and the ask at any given price that shows where participants are being aggressive or not aggressive. Yeah. But look, none of that really I mean, it does matter, don't get me wrong. It gives me good confluence. But what I trade is not order flow itself. Okay? I do not trade order flow by itself. It is a layer within what I trade, which is failed breakdowns. It's really simple. I just trade failed breakdowns. That's it. Right? You get a level, structurally important. Price comes in, breaks that structural level. Order flow comes in, traps inventory. It comes back above the structural level. I take the trade. I take a long. That's a failed breakdown, right? It's just simply price crossing below a structurally significant level. In this case, this is the value area low for the week. Probes into it, but it does not result in lower prices. That is a failed breakdown by definition, right? You have a structural level that tries to probe below. Orders get stuck down there. That's just a confluence layer. It doesn't have to happen. In this case, it did. There's a bunch of net selling below this area that has not been rewarded and is potentially trapped. And then it reverses and holds and it distributes it the other way. That is a failed break. That is what I trade. It just happens in different ways at different structural areas. The only thing that changes is not how it forms, but rather where it happens. That's the only difference. Sometimes it happens at VWAP on momentum days. Sometimes it happens at a prior week low. Sometimes it happens at an overnight low. Sometimes it happens at a prior value area low from the prior day. Sometimes it happens on a weekly value area low, like today, That's the trade I've been holding on to, or trying to trade on. Sometimes it happens on a gap up that goes into the prior day high, and then it fails to break below the prior day high, which is what the NASDAQ did right now. That's the long I took on the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ trade is simply a prior day, it's a gap up, right? We had a gap up from the prior day high, we opened above it, and then it tried to break the prior day high, and it so far has failed, therefore it is a failed breakdown of the prior day high. Same concept, just a different location. And sometimes they resolve quickly, and sometimes, like today, I don't know. It's my take all day to resolve. I've been taking the same trade. I took it 3 times, and my only problem is my stop loss. Look, I got stopped out 2 times on it. I never gave up on the trade. I just, unfortunately, just had a tight stop that wasn't working. It should have been maybe below the prior value low. I don't know. Maybe that's where I should have been positioned for the stop loss. I'll have to figure that out after I review my trading session for today. We'll see. We will see. Anyway, I'm gonna end the stream here. I'm bored. I am gonna head out, let this thing play out, and I'll be back tomorrow. Thanks anyone who tuned in. I'll see you guys on the next one.